We're here with legendary cartoonist Scott Adams, who writes and draws the brilliant Dilbert cartoon strip, talking about the new book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. So, Scott, in this book, it's 230 pages of success principles and how you succeeded in your career and in life. But the first thing you say is, it's never a good idea to take advice from cartoonists. Do you think your pitch needs a little work?
You know, I don't know how many people have ever died from taking advice from cartoonists, but it's probably non-zero. I mean, somebody probably died from that. So I like to tell people, don't take my advice. I'm offering information.
Scott, here's what you call the success formula. Every skill you acquire doubles your odds of success. You can raise your market value by being merely good, not extraordinary, at more than one skill. How does that formula explain your success?
Well, if you take me as the perfect example of this, I'm a poor artist. Certainly in the beginning, I've kind of through brute force brought myself up to mediocre. I've never taken a writing class, but I can write. I'm okay. You put me in a room of writers, I'm not going to be the best one. If I have a party at my house, I'm not the funniest person in the room, but I'm a little bit funny. I can write a little bit. I can draw a little bit. You put those three together and you have Dilbert, and it's a fairly powerful force. Add on top of that I have an MBA, I've got business experience, all of that works in. So I've got a bunch of fairly average talents that only the sum of them makes them valuable. And I think almost anybody could follow that formula. There are things such as communication skills, public speaking, writing better. You layer that on anything, and you're going to be the boss, not the worker.
What I find intriguing, Scott, is when you say you are delighted by the fact that you have failed magnificently, which is the word you use. You've failed magnificently. There's page after page after page of your failures, even before Dilbert. And Dilbert didn't take off immediately. What's the lesson? Why do you revel in failure?
Well, first of all, let me say that if you have a choice, success is better than failure. So let's put that out there first. But life is messy, you're going to fail a lot. So rather than looking at your failures as some kind of binary thing, like I tried this, it didn't work, it's better to pick tasks, pick challenges, that no matter what happens, you're going to come out with some skills you didn't have, some experience you didn't have, maybe you meet some people, you've acquired some resources you didn't have. So I try to make sure that all my failures have that quality so I can kind of at least pick their pocket before they die.
Let's talk about public speaking. Some of the skills that you believe are the most important skills for working adults to have. And let's go through the list. Public speaking, business writing, persuasion, proper voice technique, good grammar. This is all about effective communication. And yet, as you point out in your Dilbert comics all the time, good communication eludes most business professionals.
People don't realize that this is something you can learn. I think most people are born thinking, I've been talking since I was 2 years old. How hard could it be? I can communicate. But the people who are gifted at it, the people who appear to be gifted, I should say, have almost always been trained. They've learned the techniques of communication.
My favorite Dilbert comic is when Dilbert is delivering a PowerPoint presentation. And he points to the slide and he says, as you can clearly see on slide 397, that by the end of the comic, someone in the audience is holding their eyes and they die of PowerPoint poisoning. You remember when you drew that? Long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago. It was the year 2000.
Right.
Things haven't changed that much. Why?
People don't change that much. People have an idea they want to express and they want to give you every bit of it, even knowing, because I think everyone knows that less is more when it comes to communication often. And while we know that, it's just too hard to leave that extra slide behind. So there's a human element there that takes a lot of training before you can start editing your own work.
It gives you plenty of material.
Yeah, the good news is it's plenty of fodder for Dilbert comics.